So imagine that you were working at a business. Let's say it's a retail business, and you've been told that your business is closing up a bunch of stores. Things aren't looking good. Chances are you're either going to be laid off if you haven't already been laid off. Chances are everybody's going to end up losing their job. Chances are this business is going under, and for the most part, you're about to have to look for a new job. And then while you're packing your bags and you're cleaning out your desk, imagine all of a sudden a truckload of money just shows up at the front door. But here's the problem. Your business has started getting rid of people, started closing down stores, and you have no idea what to do with that money because the infrastructure that you work at itself is basically falling apart, despite the fact that a truckload full of money is coming your way. Well, that's exactly what's happening to GameStop right now. So right now, the Wall Street biggies like Jim Cramer and Mad Money and those guys who you hear talk big about how they know where the market's going and they never make any accurate predictions for the most part. They're trying to figure out what the hell is going on with GameStop. GameStop stock, I was watching all today. GameStop stock went like to what was it? I think it hit a high. A 52-week high of $380, nearly going to $400, $380. And while I was watching it, I think it jumped from like 326 to 355 during a period of the day while I was doing some work on my computer. And then you start reading into it, and you start realizing what's happening. So basically, long story short, you've got a bunch of Robin Hood trading millennials who don't know shit about economics, don't know a damn thing about stock trading, but they think that as long as they have the ability to trade stocks, and they think that as long as they can make whatever they put into the market just rise for whatever reason, they think they're doing pretty good. Now, one could argue that, hey, if you buy low and you sell high, you're doing pretty good. For example, there was one kid who pays off student loans with the money he made shorting GameStop stock. So there was a person who uses Reddit. Now, please don't ask me what Reddit is because I really don't use it. I avoid shit like that. I use Discord, but I don't use Reddit. So anyway, he paid off his student loans using his profit, which I think if he was able to pull that off, which there's no reason why he probably couldn't have, because you think about it, even people betting in Bitcoin, if they put their money in a long time ago, waited a really long time, they might have been able to do the exact same thing. This kid right here supposedly paid off his student loan $23,504 using the money that he was able to make on GameStop when he shorted the stock. Now, me personally, I paid off my student loans using the money I was making on YouTube. So here I had every single month, I was getting a $2,000-something check, whatever it was in some cents, and I was taking that money and I was applying it directly to my student loan. I was able to pay off my student loan 10 years early. This person right here, chances are he had a similar term, and he was able to short his stock, and he paid off his student loan $23,504. So if that is 100% true, I see no reason why it can't be true, but congratulations, you paid off your student loan by shorting stock. If I were to short my stocks right now, I could do the same thing, except I don't have any loan debts like that. So I say that's a good thing for you because most people would have taken that money and they would have bought something with it and they would have still had that debt laying above their head. In fact, this is such a good story that I'm going to share this with another YouTuber named Saving Minus Debt because he talks constantly about how debt is a bad thing and he debt shames people and this, that, and other. He says if you're in debt, you're a slave and so forth and so on. So if this is 100% true, congratulations to you. You paid off nearly $24,000 worth of student loan debt. That's amazing. But here's the problem that I have with GameStop. GameStop, the business model itself was bankrupt. The problem ultimately is people buy all of their games on digital downloads. They don't really go to GameStop anymore. The only people who really go to GameStop are people who are trading in used games or people who are buying used games, or people who are trying to get consoles. Now, as you know, this year, 2020 past, was the year of scalping. You couldn't get any consoles. PS4, Xbox, if you came there, chances are you were leaving disappointed. The only way you could get anything was to pre-order that stuff. GameStop is, in my opinion, worthless. There's nothing at GameStop I couldn't get at Walmart, but it gets even worse when you're talking about the hardware because they never have the shit in stock. Like, you go to Walmart, you go to GameStop, you're looking for a Nintendo Switch, you're looking for PS5, you're looking for Xbox One, Series X, whatever the fuck they call it. Thing about it is they never have stock of that shit. So if I can get my games online, I don't need you. If I can't get my stuff from you, and if I go on Amazon and I get lucky on Amazon to be able to purchase the thing, Amazon's going to deliver it the next day. GameStop's entire model is dead. Go back to 1 year ago, not even 1 year ago, February 22nd, 2020. GameStop, the prospects for GameStop stock are increasingly grim. The market has steadily shifted away from the physical games GameStop sells, pressuring earnings, and the stock price. Cool Holdings missed its first installment payment on the Simply Mac business. Bottom line is GameStop was dying. GameStop's business model is dead. It's like trying to keep a Blockbuster video open and you're still selling VHS tapes and DVDs when now everybody's moved on to just downloading shit, watching it from YouTube, watching it from HBO Go, watching it from Cinemax Go. Like, it doesn't make the model is dead. So what you have here is what we in stocks refer to as a pump and dump. That means that you use the media to manipulate the market. You pump up a stock. Some people are able to cash out, like our buddy who was able to pay off his student loan debt, and somebody is going to ultimately end up losing money and holding the bag. I consider Bitcoin a pump and dump too. Now, a lot of people would argue about why it's not, but you still cannot justify the value of something that doesn't physically exist. Gold physically exists. Coins that are linked to the US dollar physically exist. But at the end of the day, what backs them up is a US military-industrial complex, nuclear bombs, F-35s, F-22s, B-2s. That backs up the US dollar. What backs up Bitcoin? Nothing. What insures Bitcoin? Nothing. Federal Reserve insures the dollar for as much as that's worth. But at the end of the day, it comes down to guns and bullets and bombs. Bitcoin doesn't have none of that. So, bottom line is, a pump and dump is where you manipulate the market, you cause media hysteria, you cause frenzy, people start to buy. I had 2 people within the last, I'll say 6 hours, ask me about GameStop. Now, that's not even just today, it was 2 people. Yesterday, I had people asking me about investing in GameStop too. And I'm trying to tell this people, I'm like, listen, if you jump on the bandwagon, chances are you're going to lose whatever money you put in there because the short sellers are going to sell this shit and they're going to cash out your money. And at the end of the day, the value of GameStop will drop and it'll go right back to the bottom line. Because what you have to understand is you're staring at the numbers and you're like, gee, how can I get rich? You're staring at the $347.51. But the reality is what you're not looking at is the fact that GameStop's business model is dead. GameStop was closing stores left and right. I had a cousin working at GameStop. She barely made any money. She was spending all her money to buy games and stuff. And I was trying to tell her, I was like, listen, you know, the business model that you guys got is dead, so I guess you're looking for another job. And sure enough, she got a better job. She got a good job with a pension, working for the city. But the reality is, it was even saying it here, furthermore, GameStop's more than 5,700 existing stores, 3,800 are in the U.S. This gives the company a broad footprint. They started closing these stores. They've closed a number of stores. The business model is dead. It's just dead. Now, granted, there may always be novelty stores around in order for you to trade old games and stuff like that. But even people complaining about that, they're like, wait a minute. How the fuck is it if I bring a PlayStation 3 to you, you're only giving me like $40 for it or something like that? I could get more on eBay. And you're probably right. You probably could. The model is dead. It's dead, and this makes no sense. So then when you start reading into more information about what's going on, now this just happened a little while ago, 6 o'clock p.m., this was printed. Discord bans the R Wall Street Bet server. Because you got to understand, there were a lot of hedge funds that were betting against GameStop because even they know that GameStop is dead. So they were betting against GameStop. And now Wall Street's pissed off because what you're doing is you're watching these people drive up investment into a failing business model. Says Discord has banned our Wall Street's bet service. Reddit's Wall Street subreddit is the driver of an unprecedented rally of GameStop stock. As far as I know, it went up like 1,600% in the last, in the last week. It went up like 1,600%. Says the server has been on our trust and safety team's radar for a time due to the occasional content that violates our community guidelines, including hate speech, glorifying violence, and spreading misinformation. Well, technically, if you look at just about anybody's Facebook page, if they're posting that Blue Lives Matter bullshit, I would say that they're glorifying violence. If they're spreading anything that Trump says, I would say that's spreading misinformation. And if they're spreading just about anything that comes out of Fox News, I would say it's including hate speech. So why is it that only when this money started flowing did this Discord ban our Wall Street? Now, I've never been on it, so I have nothing emotionally vested in them. But what I'm saying is, this is what you're going to be dealing with in the future. First of all, you're dealing with pump and dumps that are organized. And this is not the first time this has happened. This has happened a lot. This even happens in video games where you bid up the price of items in game and you actually take people's real world money and then cash out somewhere else. This has been going on for a while, and now Wall Street is noticing it and they're annoyed by it. Because when you're dealing with a bunch of kids who are using Robinhood and Reddit, there's no way that there's any logic in what's happening. So it's not like I could sit back and say, well, you know, my basic logic for, like, if, for instance, if you want to build your own portfolio this year in order to make some money while gaining value in your stock and possibly getting dividends, I would say invest in bank stocks and invest in oil company stocks, like the big oil companies. Why? Because number one, they're always profitable. They pay dividends. Right now, they're lower than they should be because the airlines, the cruise lines aren't moving. There's a logic to what I'm saying. There is no logic in pumping money into Bitcoin. None at all. What's happening is you're dealing with new investors who do not invest along the normal traditional guidelines. So Wall Street is really annoyed by that because the reason why Wall Street hates these Robinhood investors is because they have no idea how to anticipate them. Wall Street is all about bets at this point. Wall Street is gambling. It's like a digital casino. Wall Street does not like the fact that when these people start talking shit on a Discord server or a Reddit server or whatever, that the Wall Street people are left out of it and they have no idea where any of this is going. They don't like that. And I think that's pretty much obvious. So they're trying to make moves in order to stop this from happening. But the problem is the cat's already out of the bag. You're not putting a stop on this. You're not putting a stop on this. So they're saying GameStop isn't the first stock market mania. Of course it won't. And it'll never be the last, because I would say the biggest one that we've seen is cryptocurrency. Most of the cryptocurrency is bullshit. Look at Ripple, XRP. Where's Ripple right now? Let's see. XRP. I remember Ripple used to be the talk of the town. Ripple used to be, oh yeah, you go by the water fountain and everybody in the office is talking about Ripple. And then the SEC steps in and say, hey, you know what? That shit's an unlicensed security, so guess what? You can't trade that no more. And sure enough, boom, Ripple's price, when I looked at Ripple this morning, Ripple was about 30 cents. Now, Ripple has steadily been going up, but Ripple hit its high at, what was it, $2.30 back in 2017. I remember all of that Bitcoin talk back then because I was a part of it. I really believed that Bitcoin was going to keep on going up, but then what happened was the government got involved. Once the government gets involved, they kill shit dead. And they either tax the shit out of it or they'll come after you in ways where you just don't want to be bothered. That's what they did to Ripple. So right now, Ripple's price has been fluctuating, but for the most part, it's trending down. The same goes for most of the altcoins. Bitcoin is the one that has maintained simply because Bitcoin cannot be considered an unlicensed security because Bitcoin technically is not like a commodity. They're not they're not printing anything. It's like there's just nothing there. It's invisible. The shit don't it doesn't even exist if there's no electricity. It's not like buying gold. It's not like buying oil futures. It's not like buying barrels of oil. It's totally different. But there Walmart, oh yeah, I was looking at this story. It says 4 teenagers killed, live streamed. These stupid moron idiots are giving the cops all of the goddamn proof and evidence they need. They're live streaming murders now. These are, how old are these kids? 15 years old. I've seen, and it's not even a color thing. I don't know what color these girls were. I don't know what religion these girls were. It doesn't even matter. I seen white girls killing people and stomping them out. And I'm like, why are these girls so goddamn angry? Like, all these girls are just fighting and shit. It's just crazy. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with what I was talking about, so let me get rid of that. Okay, yeah, so back to GameStop. As far as my account goes today, my account went down, what, $471 today. I'm not exactly sure where the money went, but honestly, I don't really care because I've been bouncing back and forth between $1,400. I'm sorry, $14,000. I've been bouncing back and forth in this one account. Now, my other account wasn't down as much because the stocks that I have here are not the Dow listed stocks. In my other account, I have Dow listed stocks like Apple, Google, Amazon, and you know where they are. So when all the Dow goes into the red, that's the only time I start losing any money. But for the most part, I'm so far up, it really doesn't matter because I have like Apple, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, and whatnot. But this practice account that I was using for YouTube, as you can see, I don't mind sharing the money numbers. I don't really care. And the reason why is because I started with $5,000. I'm up to $14,000, and I've been trying to show people how to invest and how to think when they're investing about whether or not something is a good idea for an investment. So that's why I've been saying bank stocks, oil stocks, even airlines. If you don't mind sitting on losses for a year or two, airlines are still low. Cruise lines are still low. Right now, they're not profitable, so you're not going to get dividends off them. But if you bought in when I told you to, you would have gotten in when they were at the lowest. And right now, regardless where they are, you'd still be up. Because chances are the airlines aren't going bankrupt. Because the simple fact of the matter is, when COVID vaccines are delivered, people have to fly again. People have to fly all over the world, and business is losing so much money. They want to get people back into the planes. So I'm not worried about airline stocks that I hold. I'm not worried about them. They're going to move when they move. Maybe that's when I'll switch from this portfolio over to the other portfolio, and I'll talk about that on YouTube. But for right now, this is the one I want to focus on. My day gain mostly came from KNDI, which is the Chinese electric vehicles. They're making cheap-ass, ugly-ass electric cars, but because you're probably poor in India or you're poor in some Southeast Asian country, you have no choice what you're going to buy except one of these ugly-ass. Let me just show you when I say ugly, let me just show you what I mean. So KNDI. Yeah, the cars are really ugly. I'm hoping that sooner or later they copy somebody. Look at this ugly-ass car. These cars are so ugly. And I hope that they copy Tesla and they try to make something that looks human. Like even this one over here, the EX3, that doesn't look too bad, but the rest of these things are ugly. And as a shareholder, I feel I can talk as much shit as I want. These are some ugly-ass cars. They look like Transformers on drugs. It looks like Bumblebee on crack cocaine. That's some ugly-ass shit. But guess what? I'm not in it for how good the car looks. I'm only in it to, make money off the stock when I finally short this bullshit. But as I was saying, my main gain today came from KNDI, and then there's my marijuana stock. So as you know, I've purchased a number of shares of marijuana. MJNA went up, what is this? Market value $284. It went up $9 today. GRNH went up $6 today. Slowly but surely, they're coming up. I'm counting on President Kamala Harris to legalize this bullshit so I can finally short these stocks. If I would have short them right now, I'd make a little bit of money. I'm not going to short anything right now. Now, unfortunately, my losses today were all main stocks. Like, for instance, NEO dipped down a little. I think it went down from $60 down to $56, so I lost like $49. I don't really care because I know these things are coming back. Blows Off, BLOZF, that's the marijuana company. They're down $90. These are all temporary losses. SLCA is the oil company. I'm down $70 in just one day. The whole Dow dropped 100 points. And they say that the reason why was because of fears of the coronavirus vaccine. Because you know what's so funny is I'm listening to Patriot XM and they're like, oh yeah, well the Republicans should get the vaccine first. I'm like, go ahead and take that shit. I don't want it. You can take my place in line. I'm not trying to get it. If I'm still alive this far in, I'm doing fine. I ain't worried about no vaccine. So the Republicans, Trump supporters, please, by all means, jump in front of me. I'm not getting on that line. I'm going to be the last person in the world to take that shit. So I'm going to watch the rest of y'all, and if y'all turn into vampires, or if you turn into zombies or some shit, I'm going to have my shotgun under my bed ready, just in case I end up like Will Smith, and it's I Am Legend out there, and I'm taking nothing but headshots. So I'll tell you what, y'all go get that shit. I'm not taking nothing. I'm not taking nothing. So anyway, let's see. Ford was at like 11 or something. No, Ford hit like $12. Ford dropped down to $10.56 because that Mustang E is coming out, and Ford's trying to make all these electric cars that are going to be slow and everything. So yeah, it dipped. I'm not even thinking about it. Honestly, I'm not even hurting. This number, $471, I swear to God, this number bounced between 600 and zero at least 3 times this week. I'm trying not to even look at this stuff. I'm trying not to look. Because the more you look at stocks, the more you make bad mistakes. It's better to just hold it and just pay no attention to it and just slowly let it up. But as you can see, the gains that I've made, these are all my gains on all the stocks that I've made. And as you can see, for the most part, it's in the green. Now, the day gain, this is just the loss in red that I took for today. But as you know, the Dow was down like 100 points or something like that. So I'm not even worried about it. This portfolio, no matter what, still adds up to $14,009. So if I were to start selling stock, like for instance, if I needed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I needed $7,000 right now, I could sell my top earners, which I wouldn't do because this one and this one right here, these make dividends. So I'm specifically keeping all my dividends, and I'm going to sell stocks that pay no dividends when I feel that they're worth shorting. So that means that when something gets real close to the 52-week high or possibly surpasses it, like this used to be Chrysler, that's when I'll consider shorting a stock. But other than that, I'm not shorting anything that pays dividends. My portfolio that I'm adding to this year is nothing but dividends, big oil, bank stocks, that's it. Because I know those are the only things that, for the most part, right now are guaranteed to pay the dividends and make profit. Nothing else is guaranteed. The airlines are not guaranteed. The cruise lines are not guaranteed. And GameStop, sure as fuck, isn't guaranteed. Because as soon as Wall Street puts their foot in these people's ass and they use like, for instance, the government was talking about it. Like, for instance, I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you guys were impeaching the president. Like, Congress was getting mad at the short stocks. Look at this shit. Elizabeth Warren smacks Wall Street casino goers amid GameStop kerfluffle. I thought you guys were busy impeaching Trump. What are you doing getting involved in GameStop? Look at this. Elizabeth Warren and the rest of these Democrats, they're busy talking about GameStop. Why are you worried about GameStop? It's because your hedge funds getting their asses kicked by these people on Reddit and whatever else they're using, like Discord and whatnot. So that's why the government would see. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I said about Bitcoin. When the government gets involved, they fuck things up. And that's the truth. That's the bottom line. They always tell you one of the best trading rules: buy on the rumor, sell on the fact. If you didn't get into GameStop in the very beginning, this is not the time to get into GameStop. There's no way GameStop's going to like 1,000 or anything like that. Especially now that the government's involved. They always say the same rule. It's buy low, sell high. And then the second rule, buy on the rumor, sell on the fact. The fact is already apparent. GameStop is a bad business model for this time. And the government is going after these people who are working on Wall Street, and Wall Street itself is going after these people who are hyping up GameStop. So basically, you got a bunch of people in a circle jerk going after each other, and they are ultimately going to tear this whole thing down. So this GameStop and AMC, all of that is a bubble. Like, some people keep asking me, they're like, oh yeah, you know, my son wants to get into GameStop. I'm like, yo, this is not the time to do that. If your son or your child wants to build up a portfolio, get oil stocks or bank stocks. That's how you build a portfolio. You do not build a portfolio going after a stock that's being pumped by like craziness on the internet. That is not where you go. Now, granted, if you're the type of person who pays close attention to these Reddits and you're watching these millennials on Robinhood, if you're in with that crowd, you could probably make money off of them, but the only way you can do it is by getting in before the stock goes up that they want to pump up, and then by selling as that stock is hitting whatever high it's going to hit. But the moment that you see the government get involved, that's when it's time to get out of it. Because when the government gets involved, that's when it's going to shit. And that's the simple truth. That's just what it is. And that's how the market really works. When the government gets involved, it's time to run. Because sooner or later, it's just all going down. So they're saying, okay, even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's like, oh, I gotta admit, it's really something to see Wall Streeters with a long history of treating our economy as a casino complain about a message board of posters also treating the market as a casino. Oh, God bless her soul, that wonderful. Let me tell you something. If any of you goddamn Trump supporters had put your hands on my dear AOC, I'd come to wherever you live, and there's no amount of guns, there's nothing you got that would stop me from getting to you. You keep your filthy paws away from my AOC. You better keep your filthy, broken tooth, keep your filthy selves away from my beautiful AOC, because we will come and get you. And you think about, look at this bullshit. Look at this. Satirical flyer promotes Capitol siege as Stanford law group. What the hell is going on? I swear to God, every time I go on the news, I think everybody's crazier than I am. It's just incredible. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. So anyway, that's basically all I wanted to say. Yes, I'm still working on my weed stocks. I'm still focusing on building up my portfolio with oil and bank stocks, and that's it. Anything else, I'm not really interested in. So there were some people asking me, oh, did you get in on GameStop? No. I took that same amount of money and I put more money in Apple before. And by the way, Apple's hitting never before seen highs. Apple's at, what is it? $147. Apple's doing great. You know how Apple's doing great? iPhone 12. You remember all those dumbass Samsungs and LG? LG said, yo, listen, we're quitting the market because we can't make no money. Apple's got the money. Samsung has got the money because Samsung and Apple sit at the top of the tree, at the top of the totem pole. Nobody ain't trying to buy no damn LG. So anyway, Apple earnings 5 hours ago. We're hitting all-time highs. We've got iPhone 12. We got the Pro Max. We got augmented reality glasses coming out. We got $550 headphones. Let's see Samsung try to sell some headphones for $550. You can't. Let's see who makes smartwatches. Let's see somebody try to make a smartwatch that costs $500 and sell that shit every year. You can't. Only Apple can, because Apple's a style and we're going through the roof. Apple keeps going so high, you're going to have to do another stock split. Okay, you just keep making me money. That's all you got to do, Tim Cook. Keep making me money. That's all you got to do. Keep making $1,000 headphones. I don't even care how much you charge these people. Just keep making it. Make me money. That's it. Put your money in Apple. Don't put in no stupid GameStop. They don't even pay a dividend, for God's sakes. Apple pays dividends. You don't go to freaking, what are you, Samsung and LG? Are you kidding me? The only thing you should be buying from them is a refrigerator or possibly a washing machine, and that's like it. I was thinking about buying a Samsung stove, but that'll come in the future. I don't know. but I'm thinking about it.